So I guess I'm a motherfucking guinea pig then because I took the COVID-19 shot. The only reason why I took it because I went to Hawaii that year for my motherfucking birthday and it was required to take the motherfucking shot. And guess what the fuck I did? I took that motherfucking shot. And I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I took that motherfucking shot because I said I was going to Hawaii. Because that trip was already motherfucking booked, planned before COVID, before we even knew about COVID. And yeah, so I guess they gonna round my motherfucking ass up, and I got a motherfucking chip in me, cause yeah.
Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash, and double honors and respect to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth, as well as much respect and honors to the brothers that are pushing this truth in sincerity across the four winds of this earth and risking their lives and freedom to do so. I would also like to give much honors and respect to the brothers and sisters that are of the hopeful elect, that are doing their very best to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High to the best of their abilities. Shalom. If you want to know what Stuck on Stupid looks like, this is it right here. Okay, this Eve in the video. Okay, she's what Stuck on Stupid looks like, because this right here was very stupid of her to do what she had done. Now you heard what she said that she had did. Okay, here it is. She allowed these devils, to basically violate her. Okay, with that Beetlejuice that these devils had came out with during that C-scandemic. And she did that. She voluntarily ran down to Esau and allowed Esau to violate her with that Beetlejuice just so that she can get on a flight and go to Hawaii and celebrate her birthday. Okay, which is totally going off. Okay, totally going off. But that right there is just wicked as hell. Here it is that she allowed these devils to basically poison her. Okay, just so that she can get on a flight and go to Hawaii and celebrate her birthday. Okay. Now here it is, what she did was she defiled her temple because she allowed these devils, to basically put that stuff in her. And also too, she was going off because we don't supposed to be celebrating birthdays, okay? And here it is, you can tell our people this, but they'll still continue to, do it. They'll still continue to want to be wicked and whatnot. And here it is, you heard how she was, explaining what she had done and everything like that, very bold and, and just very proud and, and almost like she almost had like a spirit like, as though I did it, so what? I don't care. That's the spirit that she pretty much had on her. And see, if she's not careful, the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai is going to pay her a visit, okay? And it's not going to be a pretty visit either. Because here it is, with that being said, a lot of these people, we're seeing what's happening to a lot of these people, who allowed these devils to violate them with that stuff, that Beetlejuice, during that C-scandemic. You got a lot of people that are flopping and dropping out here still, even to this day. Okay, here it is. This Eve right here, I actually had some female cousins that did something similar. Okay, they ran down to Esau, okay, and they got that stuff just so that they could travel and whatnot, and just so that they can go on vacations, out of the country and whatnot. Okay, and here it is, now I got some cousins, okay, that that allowed this devil to violate them with that stuff. They're having health issues right now. Okay, here it is. I want to say I know of two cousins, females. They got cancer right now. I think one of them has breast cancer, and I'm not sure what the other one has, but she also has a cancer. It's two females that I know of in my family that have cancer. And they ran down to Esau, and they allowed Esau to violate them with that stuff that he came out with. Also, too, I had another cousin. She passed away about 2 years ago. Okay, here it is. She was all on social media, all on Facebook, basically, being a minion, basically, being a minion for Esau, okay? Basically, promoting that Beetlejuice for Esau. She was all on Facebook, okay, trying to encourage others to get it. She was all on Facebook showing photos of her getting it, okay? And if I'm not mistaken, I believe she took at least 3 of them things, okay? She took at least 3 of them things. And here it is, shortly afterwards, she ended up getting sick and whatnot. She started having some stomach pains and whatnot. And here it is, she later had found out that, she had developed cancer. I'm not sure if it was either ovarian cancer or if it was some type of stomach cancer, but at the end of the day, it was cancer, and it spread it all throughout her body and whatnot. Okay. And took her out. Okay. After she had found out that she was, that she had cancer, I think she may have lived maybe about a year and then passed away. Okay. And here it is, this cousin of mine. I've shared this before in previous lessons. She used to be an attractive lady or an attractive woman. Okay. She was, she had, very, long hair, real long, very long hair, brown complexion and whatnot. She had kind of a thick build and whatnot, that a lot of brothers like. But, here it is. As I was saying, she was basically campaigning for Esau, promoting that stuff, that Beetlejuice. Okay. And she ran down there and she got it. And she developed cancer. And shortly after she, developed that cancer and whatnot, here it is, all that long, pretty hair, that beautiful hair that she had, she lost all of that, lost it all. Okay. All of her weight, she lost all of her weight. Here it is, right before she had passed, she was totally unrecognizable. Okay. Totally unrecognizable. I mean, she looked very beautiful, looked very sad, but back to this Eve right here in this video, here it is. She has it like a prideful, a proud spirit, and like a bold spirit. Like, yeah, I got it. So what? If she's not careful, the Lord Yahweh is going to pay her a visit, and it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty at all. Because again, we're seeing what's happened to a lot of these people, okay, who trusted in these devils with that stuff, having all types of issues and whatnot. Here it is, people are, getting ill and people dropping left and right, just out the blue, people just dropping. I'm going to go ahead and go straight to the scriptures. I didn't intend for this lesson to be long. The first scripture I want to go to is in the book of Job, and this is chapter 39, and this is verse 17. And it reads, because the Most High hath deprived her of wisdom, neither had he imparted to her understanding. And that's right. And here it is, back to this Eve in the video. You can see that she doesn't have any wisdom, okay, nor does she have any understanding. Because if she had any wisdom and if she had any understanding of the Lord Yahweh, she wouldn't have ran down to Esau, okay, and allowed Esau to violate her with that Beetlejuice just so that she could hop on a plane, okay, and go to Hawaii and celebrate her birthday. Okay, that's a clear indicator that she doesn't have any wisdom, nor does she have any understanding. And more than likely, she don't want the wisdom, nor does she want the understanding. And this is how a lot of our women are. Okay, because here it is, you have the men. When we at camp on Saturdays, we have a lot of our women. Okay, they pass by the camp. Okay, they pass by the men of the Lord. And here it is, a lot of our women. They'll give us hard looks and whatnot. Okay, a lot of our women, they'll roll their eyes at us. Okay, here it is, a lot of our women, they'll laugh and mock and scoff at the men of the Lord. And what these women are doing, these women that are doing that, what they're doing is they're setting themselves up for judgment. Okay, because here it is, this truth is being presented to them, but they're rejecting it. Okay, that's what's happening. But again, back to this video. This video is a clear indicator, okay, that Eve doesn't have the wisdom, nor does she have the understanding. And again, men of our women, they don't want the understanding. Okay, they don't want to hear the words of the Lord Yahweh Shem Bashah. And see, this is why the majority of our women over here in Babylon the Great, okay, they're going to fall over here. The majority of our women, they're going to fall into the 2/3 category, which the 2/3 over here in Babylon the Great are going to be destroyed. Okay, this is Proverbs, and this is chapter 9, and this is verse 13. And it reads, a foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. And see, here it is, this woman right here, she's clamorous because here it is, she's loud. She's all on social media, okay, posting this video, all bold and proud and whatnot, for the whole world to see. Okay, talking about that she ran down there and allowed these devils to violate her with that Beetlejuice. And she's saying it so boldly and proudly, like, yeah, I did it, so what? But again, if she's not careful, okay, the Lord Yahweh Shem Bashah is going to pay her a visit. Okay, and it's not going to be pretty. Okay, because again, we're seeing what's happening to a lot of these people that subjected themselves to that stuff. They're having all types of issues and whatnot. It says, a foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. And this woman, she's foolish. Okay, because here it is. I mean, the warnings went out. You had the men of the Lord out on the highways and hedges. We was out on the highways and hedges weekly. Okay, putting up lessons day in and day out, warning our people. Okay, to stay clear of that stuff. Okay, and I know she heard this word, she heard this truth, but she rejected it, all because she wanted to please her flesh and whatnot. It says a foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. This woman, she's simple, okay, and she doesn't know anything. Because if she had any understanding, again, she wouldn't have allowed these devils to violate her with that stuff. And see, what she's done is now she's done pretty much set herself up, to catch all types of illnesses and whatnot. Okay, because again, people are dropping left and right after taking that stuff, having all types of illnesses and whatnot. She's pretty much compromised her health, and she's all like, so what? I don't care. Oh what? No, oh well. That's how she's like. Okay, and then I think she had said something about that, that she may have a chip or something like that in her or something like that. Now I will say this right here, that Beetlejuice is not the M-O to the T to the B, but still, even though it's not the M-O to the T to the B, you still shouldn't allow these devils to violate you with that stuff. Okay, because again, we're seeing the outcome of what's happening to a lot of these people who got that stuff. Okay, that stuff is no good. Okay, like I say, here it is. I mean, almost every week I'm hearing about someone that I either know or someone that I done went to school with, or a family member. They're getting all type, they're getting ill, and their health has been compromised, or they just flopping and dropping left and right. That stuff is bad business, man. It's no good. But a lot of our people, they ran down there and they got that stuff. And you had a lot of women, they was pushing that stuff for Esau. Here it is. I had some women in my family. They got mad at me because I wouldn't follow their lead and run down there and allow Esau to violate me with that stuff. And see, also too, I've shared this before in the previous lesson. Here it is. During that, that scamdemic, I was working on a job, and here it is. The job that I was working on, they had mandated that stuff, and everybody on my job, for the exception of me, had ran down there and they had got that stuff. And here it is, shortly after that, I ended up getting a visit from my supervisor. And my supervisor, he was telling me, Edomite, he was telling me that I had 2 weeks to get at least one dose of that stuff. And if I didn't get at least one dose of that stuff in 2 weeks, that I would be fired. And you know what I told that devil? I said, well, you can go ahead and fire me. I said, if you want, I said, I will leave today. I said, because by the time 2 weeks rolled around, I'm still not going to have it in me. That's what I told him. I looked him in his eye and I told him that. And, he said, I guess he was trying to put some fear in me. And he saw that I wasn't going to be moved. And so he said, well, you don't have to leave today. He said, just hold on out. He said, maybe something will change. And, something did change, because here it is, eventually, I want to say about maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks later, they did away with those mandates. And also, too, here it is, the Lord Yahweh Shah had, moved me from that position and put me in another position. I ended up, finding another job. Okay. And that was the Lord Yahweh Shah moving me. I found another job. Okay. Now, the job that I had found, which I'm currently working at, it paid a little bit more money. Okay. And also, too, I get to work from home 95% of the time. And so that's less wear and tear on my vehicle. And that was the Lord Yahweh Shah, moving me from that position and putting me in this position that I'm in right now. Okay. That was the Lord Yahweh Shah taking care of me, because here it is, I didn't allow these devils to, I didn't put my, I kept my faith and trust in the Lord Yahweh Shah, and I didn't allow these devils to violate me, okay, with that stuff that they came out with. Okay, this is Hosea, and this is chapter 4, and this is verse 6, and it reads, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. Okay, and see, here it is, our people, they're destroyed, okay, for lack of knowledge. And here it is, the 2/3 of our people, they lack the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Lord Yahweh Shah, and the 2/3 of our people, they reject the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Lord Yahweh Shah. Again, here it is, you have, a lot of our people, they'll walk past, the camp, they'll walk past the men of the Lord, and they give us hard looks, okay, they start, making little, remarks and everything like that, making jokes about, the men of the Lord, okay, mocking and scoffing the men of the Lord. Here it is, I can remember, not too long ago, you had this wicked Eve came up to the camp, okay, and she threw a bottle. I think it was like a soda bottle or something like that, or a juice bottle. She threw a bottle at one of the men of the Lord, okay? And what she did was she basically set herself up, okay? She basically mocked herself for judgment. That's what she did, okay? It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. It says, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. And again, here it is, because 2/3 of our people, they reject this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai has rejected them. Okay. And so therefore, 2/3 of our people, they're not going to have a hedge of protection over them. Okay. 2/3 of our people, they're going to perish. Okay. Over here in Babylon the Great, right along with these Edomites and the rest of these heathens. Okay. And again, here it is, this Eve in the video, she was all bold and whatnot. And I was, as I was saying, she had like a spirit of like I did it, so what? Okay. Like I say, here it is. The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai is going to destroy Eve's like that. The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai is going to, she keeps, keep doing something like that right there. Keep having that spirit on her, like how she's having. She's basically setting herself up, okay, to get destroyed. That's what she's doing. Okay. All bold and proud and like, I did it, so what? Yeah, she's going to get a visit from the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. She's not careful, and it's not going to be a nice visit. Okay. And she's going to fear the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai in that day, but it's going to be too late. It's going to be too late. Okay, this is Jeremiah, and this is chapter 4, this is verse 22, and it reads, "For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children." And see, sottish means stupid. It says they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. It says, "For my people is foolish." Okay, it says they have not known me. And again, back to this, this video, this woman, this is a foolish woman right here. Okay, because here it is, the warnings went out. Okay, again, you had the men of the Lord. We were out on the highways and hedges warning our people, to stay clear of that stuff, putting up lessons day in and day out. So I know she heard this truth. She's heard this word. But, here it is. She was being foolish and she rejected the words, okay, of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. And that's foolish. That's a foolish act to reject the words of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. It says, "For my people is foolish. They have not known me." And see, here it is, you have 2/3 of our people. They don't know the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, nor do they want to know the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. Because again, here it is. You'll have a lot of our people. They walk past the men of the Lord and they turn their noses up at us. Okay. They make little, rude remarks talking about go get a job and do stuff like, and stuff like that, little wicked remarks and give us hard looks and whatnot. Okay. It says they have none. It says they have not known me. And again, 2/3 of our people, they don't know the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, nor do they want to know the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. And again, what they're doing is, all they're doing is just setting themselves up to be destroyed because this truth has been presented to them and they're rejecting it. It says they are sottish children. And again, a sottish means stupid. And again, back to this video, this was a stupid woman right here. Okay, that was a stupid act what she did. Okay, she ran down there, okay, and got the Beetlejuice just so she could hop on a flight to Hawaii and celebrate a birthday. That is just stupid as all outdoors. That's stuck on stupid. Okay, it says, "And they have none understanding." And again, this Eve in the video, she has no understanding, because if she had any understanding, she wouldn't have did what she had done. Okay, she would have went somewhere and sat down. Okay, and stayed out the way and not allow these devils to give her that Beetlejuice, that poison, that needle. It says they are wise to do evil, because again, that was a wicked act. Okay, what she did, allow these devils to violate her with that stuff, basically defiling her temple with that Beetlejuice. Ain't no telling what them devils got in that stuff. And we're seeing the outcome of what's happened to a lot of these people who got it. It says they are wise to do evil. Okay, and then here it is. She talking about she did it just so that she could get on a flight and go to Hawaii and celebrate a birthday. That's evil. Okay, because again, we don't supposed to be celebrating birthdays. It says, "But to do good, they have no knowledge." And again, here it is. You have 2/3 of our people. They have no knowledge. When it comes to, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai to the best of their abilities. Nor do they want the knowledge. Okay. And again, this is why 2/3 of our people, they're going to fall over here in Babylon the Great. They're going to get caught into some type of evil or calamity. They're going to get caught into the pestilences. Okay, they're going to get caught into the famines. Okay, they're going to get caught into the civil unrest, the race riots that are coming to Babylon the Great. They're going to get caught into that thermonuclear destruction that's coming to Babylon the Great, because they don't want the they don't want the understanding. They don't want the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. They're foolish. Okay, they're being sottish. Okay. Yeah, this is Isaiah. This is chapter 30, and I want to start at verse 1. And it reads, "Woe to the rebellious children, said the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that take a counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin unto sin." And that's what this Eve did, okay? She was rebellious, okay? She's basically, what I'm saying, going off by allowing these devils to violate her, to violate her with that stuff, defiling her temple and whatnot. And she did it just so that she could hop on a plane and go to Hawaii and celebrate a birthday. Okay. That's just rebellious. Okay. And so what she did was she basically, by allowing these devils to give her that Beetlejuice and whatnot, she took a counsel of these devils versus taking a counsel of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Okay, it says, "Woe to the rebellious children, said the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that take a counsel, but not of me." And this is what this Eve did. She took a counsel that was not of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. She took a counsel, okay, and she took a covering of Esau. And again, we're seeing what's happening to a lot of these people who took that covering and that counsel of Esau with that stuff that he came out with during that seed to the one or to the nine. And here it is. So much is coming out now, okay, about the lies that this that Kibalev came out with, during that seed to the one or to the nine, the protocols that he had put in place, during that seed to the one or to the nine. And so much is coming out about how that Beetlejuice is harming and unaliving people and whatnot. But then yet here it is, and again, you had the men of the Lord, okay? We were out on the highways and here just warning our people to stay clear of that stuff. But again, you had a lot of our people, okay? They ignored the warnings, and now here it is. A lot of our people, they're now suffering the consequences, okay? Because what they did was they took a covering and a counsel of this devil Esau versus taking a cover and a counseling of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. It says, "Said the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua," I'm still in verse 1. It says, "That take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin." And here it is, it's Eve. She was adding sin unto sin. Okay, because here it is, she allowed these devils to pretty much defile her temple with that stuff. Okay, because they're saying there's all type of things in that Beetlejuice that shouldn't be in your body and whatnot. That's changing people up and everything like that. And also too, here it is, she went to Hawaii to celebrate her birthday. That's totally going off. She was adding sin unto sin. Isaiah chapter 30 verse 2, it says, "That walk to go down to Egypt and have not asked at my mouth, and to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt." And that's what this Eve did, okay? She trusted in the shadows of Egypt. Okay, she trusted in Esau Edom, who was the modern day Pharaoh, okay, with that stuff that he came out with. That's what she did. And again, the warnings, you had the men of the Lord. We were out on the highways and hedges, telling our people to stay clear of that stuff, warning our people to stay clear of that stuff. But what do a lot of our people do? They ignored the warnings, okay? They ignored the warnings and they ran down there anyway and got it. And again, we're seeing the outcome of what's happened to a lot of these people that, got that stuff. Isaiah chapter 30 verse 3, it says, "Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion." Okay, and see, here it is. A lot of these people, shame is coming upon them right now because here it is. The truth is coming out about what that stuff is doing to people. Okay, and so a lot of these people who are, on that bandwagon of, hey, you got to get that, was basically being a minion for Esau and trying to basically push that stuff on others. Shame is coming on those people who did that. Okay, here it is. I had a lot of people in my family, okay, that was basically, going hard for Esau. Okay, pushing that Beetlejuice. Okay, trying to get others to follow their lead and get that Beetlejuice. Now them same family members, they're quiet, very quiet. Okay, they don't want to talk about it. If you bring it up, okay, you can tell they start to get all uncomfortable and everything like that. And then they start getting angry and whatnot. Shame is coming upon these people who took that covering and counsel of Esau. Shame is coming upon them. Okay, and it's coming to their confusion. Okay. Trusting in this place, let's just read this again. Verse 3, it says, "In the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion." And that's what's happening. Okay. Because here it is. You had a lot of these people, they're confused. They thought that here it is. By running down under Esau and getting that stuff that it would help them, but it didn't. Okay. A lot of people, it's actually, causing, they flopping and dropping, having all types of issues and whatnot. And so it's coming to a lot of these people confusion, because, they trusted in this devil, they confused because they thought that they was doing, something noble, okay, by trusting in this devil with that stuff. But here it is. I mean, you know, what they was doing was they was transgressing against the Lord Yahweh Bashim Abishai, because the Lord told us to never trust our enemy. And so here it is, you know, trusting in this devil is coming to a lot of these people, shame and confusion. Because again, you know, we're seeing what's happening to a lot of these people who trusted in that stuff. They're having all types of issues and whatnot. Okay. Health is being compromised and whatnot. And again, here it is, a lot of these people, you know, who is pushing that stuff real hard for Esau, they're quiet right now. They're shamed right now. Shame is coming over them right now. Because here it is, they're coming to the realization that they done got played, that they done been duped, you know. And here it is, you had a lot of these pork chop eating pastors and pulpit pimps, okay? They were basically being minions for Esau, you know, telling their congregation, okay, to run down there and get that stuff. They got blood on their hands, okay? Those who did that, those who pushed that stuff for Esau, they got blood on their hands, and they're going to have to give an account for that. Okay, I want to end off here in the book of Jeremiah. This is chapter 25, and I want to start in verse 4. And it reads, "And the Lord Yahweh Bashim Abishai has sent unto you all his servants the prophets, rising early and sending them. But ye have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear to hear." And again, here it is, you had the men of the Lord. We were out on the highways and hedges, okay, putting up lessons all throughout the week, warning our people to stay clear of that stuff. But again, what did a lot of our people do? They ignored the warnings, okay? They rejected the words of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Abishai, and they ran down there and they trusted in Esau, you know, which is coming to their shame and their confusion. Because again, we're seeing the outcome of what's happening to a lot of these people who trusted in that stuff. Jeremiah chapter 25 and verse 5, it says, "Then said, turn ye again, now everyone from his evil way and from the evil of your doings, and dwell in the land that the Lord Yahweh Bashim Abishai giving unto you and your fathers forever and ever." Okay, and see, you know, here it is, you know, we've been, you know, telling our people to, you know, repent, you know, telling our people to return to the Father and the Son. But again, you have, you know, 2/3 of our people, they reject the words of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Abishai. And again, this is why 2/3 of our people, they're going to fall, okay, over here in Babylon the Great, right along with these Edomites and the rest of these heathens. The 2/3 of our people, they're going to have to be born back in the new righteous kingdom through the seed of the elect. Verse 6, Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 6, it says, "And go not after other gods to serve them and to worship them, and provoke me not to anger with the work of your hands, and I will do you no hurt." And see, here it is, you know, this is what a lot of our people do. Okay, they're into all of these different fake religions. They're into worshiping, you know, these other, you know, false idols and whatnot. Okay, here it is, a lot of our people know they're into all types of wickedness and whatnot. Okay, it says, "And provoke me not to anger with the work of your hands." A lot of our people know they trusted in this devil Esau. A lot of our people, they look at Esau as being their higher power. Here it is, you know, during that seed to the one and to the nine, a lot of our people, they ran out of the Esau and they trusted in Esau with that stuff that he came out with. Okay. And again, you know, what they did was they provoked the Lord Yahweh Bashim Abishai to anger, because we're seeing what's happening to a lot of these people who trusted in that stuff that Esau came out with. They're having all types of issues and whatnot, flopping and dropping left and right. It says, "And I will do you no hurt." Okay, again, you know, you have to, you know, now is the time to get right with the Lord Yahweh Bashim Abishai. And I'm speaking to you, Israel. And when I say Israel, I'm talking about you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and those that are of the speckled bird that look like these other nations, but you go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob on your father's side. Of course, we already know, you know, 2/3 of our people, they're not gonna repent, and so therefore 2/3 of our people, they're gonna get caught into the wrath of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Abishai, right along with these Edomites and the rest of these heathens over here. Verse 7, it says, "Yet ye have not hearkened unto me, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Abishai, that ye might provoke me to anger with the work of your hands to your own hurt." Okay, and again, you know, here it is, you know, those white people who are not seeking the Lord, those white people, you know, who just want to continue to trust in this failing system of Esau's, okay, they're going to feel the wrath of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Abishai. And see, here it is, back to this video. This Eve, she was all bold and proud and had a spirit of like, yeah, I did it, so what? Okay, if she ain't careful, she's going to get a visit. The Lord Yahweh Bashim Abishai is going to pay her a visit if she's not careful. Okay, and it's not going to be a pretty visit, you know. And see, in that day of the Lord, she's going to fear the Lord then, but it's going to be too late. Okay. And so, you know, I'm going to go ahead and end off here. You know, as I had said, I had saw this, you know, video, and I just thought that I would bring out a lesson. Hopefully it was edifying. Once again, I want to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and double honors and respect to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Kwam Yasharala and Abba Baba. Shalom.